As in the previous discussion, we were discussing about security issues related to Android. We majorly discussed on the Android. We discussed the architecture of Android operating system. We saw what is the power management, what are the native C++ libraries, what is Android runtime, what are the various Java APIs. No, these are all of the things that we had seen. We also saw what is a zygote process when the system boots up. How does the zygote process works as a base when you start any of the new process, when you execute an app? How is the zygote process forked, and then the execution of the app happens? This is what we have discussed previously. After that, the next point that we have for the discussion, that is quite important because in all of the upcoming discussions that we will be having, the Android pen testing that we will be doing, security researcher that we will be doing, we will be requiring it. That is Android Debug Bridge. So before we get started with learning more about Android Debug Bridge, can anyone of you please help me in understanding the meaning of the term debug? What is the real life meaning of the term debug? Anyone?
Rohan, when it comes to code, so something we are changing the code to get rid of errors.
To get rid
That
of
that
errors.
can be considered as debug.
As
And
debug.
when it comes to website or cloud, something maybe some configurations, so that we can debug like that. It varies according to the which what we are using, like code, cloud, or DevOps, something like that.
Hmm. Okay. Anyone else? What is a debug? What do we mean by debug?
Um, in my terms, debug is kind of identifying or fixing errors, like bugs, anything we are facing during the like an unexpected behavior of the application. So to make sure what's happening, what errors are generating this kind of problem. So it means debug in my terms.
Okay. A bug basically refers to uh, something that we are not expecting in the code, or something that is not following the syntax, something is that is not following the logic. That is what we call as a bug. For example, you are simply writing a code, and in that code you wrote if name equals to Rohan. This is what you had to write. This is the expected code, that this is what we should be having, but you have written name equals to Rohan. Here, using this operator, we are checking that the value is same. The value that we have in the name parameter and the value that we have here in the right hand side are both of them same. But here we have mentioned equals to in place of the double equals to. So this is a bug. This is something that we are not expecting. So if you run this code, this is syntax correct. Syntax is no problem here, but the logic, that is the problem here. So bug means when you are writing any of the code, when you're writing an application, and in that application, if there is any of the mistake that you might have made, or that particular code is not running as it should be. In some cases, there will be an error in the compilation. It may be a syntax error. In some cases, the code compilation will be successful, but the expected behavior of the application will change. It will not be the one that you are expecting. You are asking it to give you a result of 2 plus 2, and it is giving you C. So that is the unexpected result. That is what we call as bug. In bug bounty hunting as well, these are the types of bugs that we are looking for. These are the challenges that we are looking for in the code. The term D here refers to remove. In the English language, whenever you have to remove something, whenever you have to eliminate something, we put D in front of it. So debug means from any of the code, when you have to remove the bug, that is when you debug it. So how do you do a debug? You will be having 10 lines of code, In those code, you will be referring to them, you will be seeing them, you will be understanding their behavior, and on the basis of what you are expecting and what you are getting originally, on the basis of that, you will be debugging. Yeah, here you will also be introduced to one of the terms, that is breakpoint. What happens in breakpoint is, let's say you have got 10 lines of code. One by one, all of the lines will get executed. If you want the code to get stopped or to pause at any of the specific line, that is where you put breakpoint. In the upcoming discussion, we will be learning how can we set up breakpoints in any of the Android app so that we can easily understand the application of the behavior using Expose framework. We'll be doing that. I'll get to that when we will be reaching that module. But for now, just understand that the term debugging means when any of the application is running and you want to understand what is happening in the backend, how is the thing working, so that we can debug it. That is why we have got Android debug bridge, that is ADB here. This is ADB. So what we will be doing using ADB is, we will simply be having a command line. Like here we will be having a command line, we are calling it a client. Like Mobaxler will be the client here. That client will be sending machines, will be sending commands to that specific machine. Now where will that command be going? That command will be going to our Android device where this daemon for ADB is running. Daemon here is simply a background process that will be running on the device. So if in case we have got 3 devices, on all of the 3 devices you can turn on this ADB daemon. D here refers to daemon. So this is the daemon that is responsible for ADB. What we do is, in our device, on the Android device, we will be turning on the ADB daemon. Using the server, we will be communicating between the daemon and the client. How do you do that? You simply have to go to your Android device. We have already set up the Android machine in our previous discussion. So you go to your Android device. It may be a Genymotion emulator or it may be a rooted physical device. You go to settings, you scroll down, you go to about phone, and then you tap on build number multiple times. Usually by tapping here 3, 5 or 7 times, you will be able to turn on the developer tools. If in case developer tools is already up and running, you need not do this. Only for once you have to do it, because I already have developer tools enabled. For that reason it says no need developer tool. You are already a developer, which means that the developer tools are already enabled. So you click here multiple times and then it will say that you are now a developer. You go to developer options. Here you scroll down and you will get to see USB debugging. So what we are doing here is, actually the physical phone that we have, that we will be connecting to our laptop, and then we will be debugging. Here with the help of this emulator, we are simulating or we are emulating that this device is connected to our terminal, is connected to our ADB client using the USB, and all of the commands that we will be setting, all of those commands that we will be sending to this client, to this particular specific device where the ADB daemon is running, we will be able to do that. So what actually happens when you will be turning on USB debugging is that, when you will be turning on the USB debugging, a server will be starting, the ADB server will be starting on this device here, and by default the port that will be used here is 5037. This is the default port, the default TCP port where this ADB server, it will be running. This is where it will get binded. And when any of the ADB client is the Mobaxler terminal, when any of the ADB client will be sending any of the command, the server, that is this device, will be listening for those commands. This is the default servers. Now if in case it happens that this port is already in use, then it can get started on any other port as well. But in 99.9% of the cases, over this particular port 5037, over this particular port 5037, it will be running. here. So what happens when you turn on this debugging? The ADB server will start here. ADB server will help you communicate your client, that is Mobaxler terminal, to the ADB daemon. So server will be helping you in establishing a communication between the daemon, the ADB daemon, as well as the client. What is a daemon? Again, daemon is a background service that will keep on running here, even if in case you lock the device or you know you just keep it running, the daemon will keep on running in the background here. Using this server, we will be communicating between the Mobaxler terminal and this device. Now the next question that you might ask, that Rohan, you have mentioned that in Mobaxler we will be having the terminal in our
Rohan,
Android.
sorry for interrupting. TCP port number 5037 will be running in on Android device, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Here it will be listening on 5037, and when any of the client makes a request over this port number, this will be able to execute it. Here it will be running on the server. Now, to help you get connected with the ADB, all you need to do is, in your Android device, you need to have ADB installed. By default, ADB will be installed in Mobaxler. If in your the operating system that you are using, if you're not using Mobaxler and you want to install ADB, you can refer to any of the Android, any of the online resource. Like if you are using Ubuntu for testing, you go to Google, you search how to install ADB in Ubuntu. If you have a specific version number, you can extract that. You can look out for the documentation or resource on how can you install ADB on that specific OS. If in case you are using Mobaxler, ADB comes pre-installed in it. So with ADB, what we can do is, with this particular Android device, we can access it, we can install any of the application, like here any of the app that you want to install, you can do that using ADB. All of the logs that are there for this Android device, you can access them. You will get a complete shell to this particular file, to this particular Android device. I mentioned that when you will be installing any of the Android app, the data will be stored, all of the data related to that package will be stored in /data/data. So today we will be having a look at that as well. These are some of the commands that you should know. These are all of the commands that we will be requiring in all of the upcoming discussions. It is not mandatory that you learn all of them. It's just that I want you to practice them. The more you practice, the more you will understand them. No need of learning that how do you use ADB install, how do you use ADB shell PM list packages. That is not required. Just keep on using them. This is the initial phase of our learning. So the more you use them, easier it will be for you to be able to get your hands on it. More you use, you will get used to it, and automatically your fingers will get trained about the syntax. The first thing that we have to do is that we have to connect this terminal with this device. This is the client, this is the server, and we have to connect this to this. So for that, what we do, we write ADB connect, and then we write the IP address of the server here. You will be able to find that here. If you see this title bar, you will be able to find the IP 192.168.190.102. 192.168.190.102. Enter. Now because I am already connected to this device, I get to see this. Otherwise, when you will be doing it for the first time, when your device is not connected, when your client is not connected to this server, you will get to see that is starting a connection on 5037, and then it will get started. If in case you want to turn off the connection, you simply write kill hyphen server, enter, and then it will be disconnected. Again, if I run this, you can see daemon is not running. We are starting the daemon now at the TCP 5037. The daemon has started successfully, and now here we are connected. If you are connected to multiple devices and you want to see what are all the devices that are connected to your ADB client, you simply write ADB devices, enter, and here you will be able to see all of the devices that are connected to this client, to this ADB client. So here, this is the IP. If I have had multiple devices here and they are connected to this, I will be able to see a list of all of them here. So the first thing is ADB connect, using which you will be able to connect your client to this server. Next thing is ADB devices, that is used to list all of the devices that are connected to this ADB client. The third one is ADB kill server. When you want to terminate the connection or the session with all of the devices that are currently connected, you can mention this here. Next, if in case you want to install any of the app, like I give you a APK and I tell you that this is the APK that you have to install on your device without touching the device. So using ADB, you can install, like here you can see I have got an APK file that is 𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶. If you have a look at all of the files that I have installed here, all of the apps that I have installed here, I do not have 𝗶𝗶 here. So to install this APK onto this device, all you do is you run ADB install and then you give the name of the APK. Now in the backend, this 𝗶𝗶𝗶 APK, it is getting installed, and now you can see here that the 𝗶𝗶𝗶, it has been installed like this. Similarly, as I mentioned that using ADB, you will be able to access the Unix shell. For that, you simply write ADB shell and then hit enter. Now you are into the shell for this Android device. Any of the command that you run here, it is getting executed in this Android device. For that, I wrote ADB shell and then this ADB shell that I have received. Here, this is the command that I wrote in my terminal, and now because I am a root user, I am able to get here. I mentioned that all of the apps that you will be installing, it will be going inside this data folder. So I will be taking you here, cd data, and here these are all of the various folders that we have. So within the data folder, you will be having another data folder. So I again go into data folder, and all of the apps that have been installed here, these are the package names. In any of the Android device, apps are not known by their names. Apps are known by their package names. Who will be deciding the package name? The developing organization. For example, this particular organization has developed 𝗀𝗚𝗏. So they have named it as com.𝗀𝗚𝗏. This developer has decided that the name of their package will be com.netmets.mediscope. So when they will be creating a new project in their Android Studio, in their IDE, there they will be deciding what will be the name of the package. It's similar to that in real life. At your home, you are known by your nickname. But when you are outside your home, you are in your office, you are at your school, your university, you are known by your legal name. Similarly, consider it this way that the names that we have here, these are the nicknames. These are just for the easy retrieval, the turn on Opera, open Chrome. So these are the nicknames. The actual legal names by which they are known everywhere that are documented, they are this package names. Where will you be able to find all of the packages that are installed? You will be able to find them within /data/data. And if you want to get inside any of the package, you simply do a cd. These are all of the folders. You do a cd, and like let's say I want to get into this package. So I copy this from here, and here I am into this package cache, code cache, databases, lib. In some time we will also be learning that what is the structure of any of the APK. We will get to that in a bit. Currently let's focus on how can we understand more on the ADB. So this is the ADB shell. If you want to get out of the shell, you simply write exit, and now we are out of the ADB shell. We are again into our Linux terminal. Next thing that you want to do is that, like, let's say you want to get a list of all of the packages that are installed. For that, you run ADB shell, then you write PM. PM here is short for package manager. We have two things that we will majorly be using. One is PM, that is package manager, and the second one is AM, that is activity manager. What is an activity? Why do we manage it? How do we manage it? We'll be discussing it later. For now, ADB shell PM, what it will do, PM will be related to package manager. What I want to do, I want to list all of the packages, all of the packages that we have in this Android device to which we are connected at the moment. These are all of the packages that we have. Like here we have com.genymotion.geny, we have com.giggle.app, com.android.deskclock, ru.mail.mail.app, com.𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗹𝗯𝗹𝗲, com.android.customlocale2, com.android.bluetooth, 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗶𝗹𝗯𝗹𝗲. These are all of the package names. So when you had to install any of the app, you simply give adb install, you give the location to the APK, and then it will get installed. If you have to uninstall anything, what you do is you need to give the name of the package, because by the name Opera there may be multiple things, like there can be Opera Mini and there can be Opera browser. How will ADB get to know which of the package do we have to uninstall? So for that we will be mentioning the name. If you want to locate any of the specific package, you can write -f, and then here you can see that this is the particular package name that we have for Opera. So all of those packages that will be containing Opera, they have been shown to us. Now here you can see two things are shown to us. One is the APK. So when you will be installing any of the Android file, any of the APK onto your Android device, APK will also be stored in that Android device. That will be stored in /data/app/package name /base.apk. For all of the apps that you are installing, base APK will be present in that device in /data/app/project name /base.apk, and the package name that we have here is com.opera.mini.native. If you want to install this Opera Mini, what you do, you simply take this package name, you copy, you write adb uninstall, and then you write the name of the package. Success. Now you can see Opera Mini has been uninstalled. We had installed Opera Mini using adb install. We gave adb install apk, and then it was installed. We have also installed Opera Mini by giving the name of the package. You can see Opera Mini is not present here anymore. We have uninstalled it. Now if in case I again list these packages, you can see nothing is being shown to me because that package, it has been installed, it has been uninstalled. So now before, when we run adb shell pm list packages -f opera, so here this is the name of the package that we have uninstalled. It was success. You can see now it has been uninstalled. Now again, if I show you all of the packages that contain Opera, it is not shown. Similarly, if in case I give you a task that can you get me the APK of this Mediscope? This Mediscope that we have here, I want its APK. I want you to extract its APK and download it on your terminal here, so that we can reverse engineer it, we can unzip it, we can decompile it, and then use it. For that, what you do is you will be first of all requiring the name of the package. So here I want you to do it for Mediscope. So you write Medi here, and here you can see that you have got three packages that contain Medi. One is system privilege app, Media provider, media provider.apk. This is one package. Then we have Mayo Clinical Medical Transport. This is another package. And the third one is com.netmeds.mediscope. Here, this is the package that we are looking for. This is Mayo Clinical Medical Report. We do not require it. This is com.netmeds.mediscope. com.netmeds.mediscope. Here, this is Mediscope. This is Mediscope. So this is what we want. And here you can see that in this location, we have got this APK. Now what I want to do, I want to pull this APK from this Android device to my machine. I want to pull this. I want to pull this APK file from this Android device to my machine. For that, what I will do, ADB pull, and then I will give the link to this APK. Copy it from here and then paste it here, enter. Now you can see if I show you ls, base.apk is here because this is the name by which the apks will be saved in the Android file. So for that, when you want to pull anything from the Android device, you simply write adb pull and then you write the name. So I had to extract the APK. So here I wrote adb pull and here I am able to extract the APK. Similarly, if you want to push anything from your terminal to this Android app, what you do, you simply have this file like I have this test.txt. I have got this txt file and I want to send this txt file to this Android device. So what I do, adb push, because I am pushing it from my terminal to this Android device. From device, you will always be pulling. To device, you will always be pushing. So what we do adb push, we write the name of the file, that this is the file that we want to push, and then we write the location that in this folder all of the volumes, all of the storages that have been mounted, you will be able to see them in /mnt. So whenever you will be having any of the Android device that will be containing this SD card folder, even if in case it is the internal storage, it will be known as SD card. So if I take you to files here, mm, like this is the file explorer, this is the internal storage, and here we have got test.txt. Let's say I delete this. Here I have deleted this, and now if I run this push command, one file has been pushed. Now if I open this, so you can see now we have got this test.txt. If I open this, you can see the contents texting and you can see the contents testing. This is the same file that has been pushed here. So whenever you have to send any of the file to Android, you simply write push. Whenever you have to get any of the file from the Android device, you write pull. So this is what we do, pushing files to the Android device, pulling files from the Android device. Similarly, if in case you want to see all of the processes that are running, I mentioned that all of the services, all of the apps that will get executed here, they will be running as dedicated processes. If you want to see all of the processes running in this Android device, you simply write ps, just as we have it in here in the uh, you know the Linux. Similarly, here we have got PS, all of the processes that are running. Here you can see this is the process ID 13969. This is the process ID for this PS, and for this Z shell that we have 7792. So PS will be showing you all of the processes that are running. Similarly, if in case you want to flash any of the zip file, like you have an archive, it could be a OS update or it could be any of the custom ROM, and you want to flash it, you want to install that here. For that, you will be running adb side load, and then you will be giving the name.zip. I'm assuming that you have got a file by the name.zip, and using this side load, you will be able to send it here. You will be able to flash it into this Android device. So using side load, if you want to flash, you want to install any of the zip file like a custom ROM, or you want to install anything, you can simply do that with the help of side load. Usually any of the ARM translator that we have, just as we installed ARM translator by dragging and dropping it into this device, using side load we can do that. If you want to restore a backup, that can also be done. Also, if in case you want to see all of the top processes that are consuming maximum of your CPU. Now, why will you be requiring this top process? Because when you are testing for any of the application, there is a possibility that you might want to crash that application. So for that reason, if you are monitoring that which of the app is consuming maximum resources, and after you execute that attack, like you tried out one of the attacks to crash the application, and suddenly you see that the resources required by that application, they have increased. So by looking at this top command here, you will be able to see that using this attack you are able to crash an application, you are able to create a DOS attack. So for that reason, for the sake of POC, for the sake of reporting, this top command will be coming in handy. Along with that, talking of coming in very handy, a very important command that we will be using in all of our upcoming discussions is about logs. Logs simply means that whenever you are performing any of the action, like you have opened this app, in the backend, all of the actions that you are taking, like I write hello here, and then I search, I choose Firefox just once. So all of the tasks that we are performing in the backend, logs are being maintained. That for this process ID on this timestamp, this task was done. This is the response. We will be looking at a lot of logs. If you want to monitor the logs, if you want to see the logs in ADB, you will be having logcat. So when you run ADB logcat, here these are the logs. This is the timestamp. This is the process ID. Everything that is happening, you are able to see that here. So if I open a browser here, you can see these are all of the things that have happened in the backend. I click on google.com here. I open a website here, the hacktivist.in. I hit enter. This is what happened in the backend. It says there is some problem with the proxy. This is logs. If in case you want to see the logs of any of the specific app, in the logs, the apps are defined by their process ID. So first of all, we will have to find out the process ID related to the apps, and then you will be able to extract out logs related to that app. So for that, you simply write adb shell and then ps. These are all of the processes that are running. If in case you want to extract the process ID for any of the specific app, for that you will be running grep. Like for example, here I have got this Zomato. I want to extract the process ID for this. You can see currently Zomato is not running. See, in the recents, Zomato is not running. So now, if in case I run adb shell ps using pipe, I grep for Zomato. Now let me explain what this does. PS will be showing you all of the processes that are running. This is the pipe command. So the output for this command will be going as an input to this command. And using grep, what do we do? Using grep, we will be extracting out significant strings, or on the basis of the pattern, we will be finding out anything. So when I write grep -i Zomato, what I did was I told the terminal that from the output that you have for this command, tell me all of those lines that contain Zomato. Now, because Zomato is not running, for that reason, we do not see anything here. Now I'll be running Zomato. I open this app. This app is now running, and now when I run this grab command, you can see these are the details. This 9200, this is the process ID for Zomato. What I need to do in the ADB logcat, I need to extract all of those lines that are related to this process ID. This is the process ID 9200. Every time Android OS will be assigning a new process ID. Every time you terminate a process, you terminate any of the app, this process ID is free. When you will be executing it, a new process ID will be allocated to it. It may be same, it may be different. So now from the logcat, we have to extract all of the logs that are related to this process ID. For that, what we do, we write adb logcat pipe grab -i and then the process ID. Please keep this thing in mind that in logcat, the name of the app, the package name, that will not be shown. We will be mapping that this log is related to this app on the basis of this process ID. Now when I hit enter, you can see all of those lines are being shown to me that are related to Zomato. Now if I click on anything, like I click on login, here you can see the things are happening. I write the email, I write the password, I log in, and you can see launching threads, 4 CPUs, get slots from buffered log, unknown buffer, buffer ID, like this. So any of the interactions that you have with this app, only those logs will be shown to you. The others, they won't be shown to you, like this. This is why we will be requiring logcat. We will be using logcat extensively. Using logcat, we will want to see, we will want to check that in any of the logs, do we have the sensitive data. In some cases, you will see that when you will be logging in, the credentials will be shown in the logs here. That is a dedicated security issue. When we will be learning them, I'll again give you a quick revision of this logcat. So these are some of the commands that you should know. I have made a list of them just so that I do not miss out on anything. All of the commands we have discussed. One of them is yet to be discussed. That is adb shell pm clear. So what this clear command will do, all of the data that is associated with that package, that will get deleted. So here if I had to delete the data related to that Opera Mini, so I'll be writing simply com dot opera dot mini dot native. You can consider it this way, that in Android what we do, we go to the app info and we click on clear data. So that clear data, all of the existing data that you have that is associated with that app, you see that it will get cleared. For example, if you go to the app info for Facebook, you go to app info, you see clear data, you click on clear data, and all of the user data that we had in that app, it was cleared. So after that, when you open Facebook, you need to log in again, and because all of the user data has been deleted. So for that equivalent, here we have this. So we simply write adb shell pm clear and then the package name. All of the data that we have related to that app, related to that package name, it will get deleted. Please keep this thing in mind that it will not be deleting the app, it will not be deleting or uninstalling the app, it will only be deleting the data related to that package name. So if this is related to Opera Mini, all of the app data, all of the cache that you have, that will get deleted, not the app. To delete an app, to uninstall an app, here we have got adb uninstall here. These are some of the commands that are related to ADB that we will be using primarily. We will be using them a lot. Whenever we are testing for any of the security issue, we will be requiring it. So this text file I'll be sharing with you. Please make sure that all of these commands that we have discussed today, you practice them. All of these commands, we will be using them extensively in the upcoming discussions as well, when we will be requiring to again use any of the command, I will again be giving you a brief revision that why are we running this command here. This is a brief description of ADB. In the upcoming discussions as well, when we will be requiring ADB, when we will be requiring any of the command, we will be again discussing them in detail. Now, what is the next step?
Huh?
Hmm.
Just a second. Sir, I didn't quite catch ADB root, sir.
ADB root.
Yes, sir. I saw commencing with ADB root. I quite didn't. I thought I didn't hear about it.
ADB root. Yeah, missed about the ADB root as well. What ADB root will do, that the ADB daemon that you have, I mentioned this ADBD. What this ADB root will do, it will be restarting the ADB daemon with the root permissions. So if in case you are not using ADB daemon as a root user, by running ADB root, it will be running the ADB daemon as a root user. This is why we have ADB root. Like if you write ADB shell. Now here, because we are a root user, we see root here and we see a hash. So if in case you do not log in as a root user, you can simply run ADB root, and then it will be restarting the ADB daemon with the root permissions.
So, what's the benefit of root permission, sir?
More permissions.
Like you said, when we use ADB root, it restarts with root permissions, no, sir?
Hmm.
So, is there like a benefit or something to it?
Yes, there's a lot of benefit. Consider it this way, that you have a Windows machine. In a Windows machine and in a Windows laptop, you are running things as an administrator and you are running things as a guest user. So in which one of them will you be having more permissions?
Sir, administrator only, sir.
Simple. In
Yes.
Linux, administrator is known as a root user. So when you will be running things as a root user, you will be having more permission. You can access more locations, you can execute more commands, you can access the internal data, internal files, power off, a lot of things you can do. Now that you know,
Thank,
hmm,
thank you, sir.
hmm, now that you know that we have got this ADB, and using ADB, these are the various actions that we can perform. One of the important actions that we had performed here is that we have extracted this base APK. Now this base APK that we have, what do we do with this APK file? If in case I unzip this file, if in case I want to decompile this file, how can I do that? Also, what are the various components of this APK file? What are the various contents of this APK file? You have got meta inf, you have got lib, you have got static, you have got assets. There are a lot of files that you have in here. So what do those folders do? What do those files do? What is the structure of an APK? How do you construct an APK? This is what we will be discussing in our upcoming discussion. That once you have got any of the APK, what do you do with it? What is its structure? How do you decompile it? How do you decompile it using JADX? How do you decompile it using dex2jar? How do you decompile it using APK tool? And then in here you will be having a Android manifest file. So how do you review the Android manifest file? What is the significance of Android manifest file? This is what we will be learning in our upcoming discussion. Now, if you have any questions or queries for me, we can discuss them.
Roman, could you please share the text file?
Sure, I'll do that in the group.
Okay, sure.
Excuse me, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, could you re-explain what's a daemon, sir?
Daemon is a background process. Like consider it this way, that You have got YouTube. You have YouTube Premium. So what you do, you simply turn on YouTube, you play a video, and you keep it running in the background. So
Okay.
that is that the thing that keeps on running in the background, that is a service. And similar to that, we will be having a daemon, simply a background process that keeps on running in the background. Like WhatsApp will keep on checking in the background that if you have got any of the messages, or you have your
Yes, so
messages are being delivered, like that. So that is a
okay.
daemon. Also, after this discussion, we will be having a brief overview of all of the things that we have discussed till now. So if you have any questions or queries, or if you would want to revise, you can stay back in the discussion and you can take a revision. Otherwise, you may leave the discussion for now. And if in case you have any questions, queries that you would want me to discuss, we can take them now. Otherwise, this is all that I had in my mind for you today. The text file that I have presented, I will share it with you for your reference. Please make sure that all of the points that we have discussed, all of the commands that we have discussed, you practice them. And before you join the next session, you have practiced all of them. And I am hopeful that all of you now have the Mobaxler and this emulator ready. If you are facing any issues with it, please let me know. I'll help you on a one-on-one basis to help you troubleshoot it. Also, before you leave today's discussion, please make sure that you mark your attendance in the chat box. I'll share it with the management team. Now, if you have any questions or queries, you can stay back. We can discuss. You can be a part of the revision session. Otherwise, you may leave the discussion for now. That is all that I had in my mind for you today. In the next discussion, we will be learning more about APKs. We will learn their structures. How do you decompile them using various tools? And how do you analyze Android manifest XML file? Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks for your time and have a very good night. I'll see you tomorrow at 8. Please do take care of yourselves.
Thanks, Rohan.
I'm glad to help. Arun.
Yeah.